Stephen.
Andrew.
Do you fancy spending a quiet night inside number 9?
Yeah, let's.
So we're in Series 8, Episode 2, Mother's Ruin.
Does this count as that?
This does, yeah. After
Officially.
The Bones of St. Nicholas, which was Episode 1 at Christmas. And this was directed by George Kane, produced by Kim Crowther, and written by Rhys Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton, and first aired on Thursday the 27th of April 2023. Yeah, so we've got a new series. It's kind of cropped up a little bit. It hasn't felt like it's had quite the same
fanfare.
Fanfare, yeah.
It has been kind of just sort of dropped out there. Yeah. There hasn't been any. I haven't really. I don't know whether it's just because I don't watch BBC television much.
Yeah, no, I've heard a few people say like, "Oh, I noticed that it's coming back." I was talking to someone today who said, "Oh, it's coming back, isn't it, soon?" I was like, "Yeah, it started on Thursday." So yeah,
good job, advertising department.
I'm not sure what that's about, and obviously the Inside Number 9 podcast is not being produced. I'm not sure why that is. Whether that's a BBC decision or a Stephen Rhys thing. I would imagine. I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
Then don't.
But we're not here to talk about the BBC, are we?
No, not
directly.
Not directly.
We're here to talk about Mother's Ruin.
Mother's Ruin.
Not gin.
It is gin. I mean, it is gin. That's all Mother's Ruin is.
Synopsis. Should we start with that?
You can start with that.
Okay. Harry and Edward's parents were rotten people. They made a lot of enemies in the criminal underworld. But where's the stolen fortune Annie was sitting on before she died? It's time to find out. So what were your thoughts on this? We haven't actually exchanged any, other than your tweet about being a bit stumped, which I think was a joke.
Yes, it was. Yes,
just very clever.
Clever. You're putting that down.
Highly intelligent humour.
Got your bars dropped.
It has. Yeah, we haven't actually talked about what our thoughts are on this, so I'm intrigued to hear. What do you think? Contrary
to some reviews that I've seen, this was not the goriest thing I've ever seen. It didn't make me throw up. So, yeah, that's what it wasn't. Or Channel 4 show that was the goriest thing I've ever seen.
The original Sun headline included the fact that it's the goriest episode of Inside Number 9, the Channel 4 programme. And also revealed a huge plot spoiler in that headline.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Because I think it was one of those ones that takes you on a bit of a twist and turn. What sort of episode is this going to be? There's a lot of different genre of stuff in it, which is fun. I think they had fun making this. I think they had fun writing this.
Remember when Roman and Sue said you were going to be attacked by a tiger and you said it came true because a box of Frosties fell on your head in the Lidl?
Park life.
I really enjoyed his performance.
I did. He was properly psychotic.
Lovely, unhinged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of, what is he going to do? What is he capable of?
That came to a head as he put on his splash visor and apron like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah.
With a beautiful sense of, head. I better do this because I really want to get some sleep.
Yeah.
This has really inconvenienced like my evening. Got off holiday and got these guys in our living room who I need to chop up and find a place in Epping Forest.
It's the only way that this can be dealt with at this point.
Yeah. I do. Yes. Yeah, so I mean, my thoughts on this were, I decided not to take, by the end I was like, I don't think this is one for taking too seriously, in terms of really overthinking it. It is just quite a fun fusion of different genres, bit of fun writing, and some fun performances all round. Really, I think. Yeah, there's Steve as is it Harry? There's a fusion of a few characters he's played in the past. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll name some of the ones that it's reminiscent of. Certainly a bit of David Sowerbutts. I thought
it definitely was. Yeah.
When we first met him, I was like, "Is this going to be that sort of character?" But it seemed to have a bit.
It's the sort of the simpleness of David Sowerbutts, but with some warmth.
With some warmth and competence beneath the surface.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously arranged their mum's funeral. He's done all of that, like looked after her and all of that stuff. What he didn't do, what he's asking for forgiveness for, I'm not sure entirely what that's about.
The whole relationship between the brothers is interesting, and there's clearly a lot of stuff that's gone on in the family. And Ed just kind of dropped a lot and went, "These are dreadful people. I want nothing to do with this. I'm off." But Harry had that kind of sense of duty, and it's weird that Harry is Harry Jr. despite being the younger brother.
Is there an implication that Edward is not Harry Senior's son?
Possibly. I mean, it's odd to call your second son your junior, isn't it? You would probably go with your firstborn being your junior. So there must be something in that they're not. Yeah. And if this affair was going on for as long as it did, then who knows? Yeah.
But does the maths work out? Because he said 20 years.
20 years. And he must be then 30s, 40s.
Yeah, I mean, Reese is older than that, isn't he?
I don't know. How old's Reese Shearsmith?
I don't know. He's an evergreen little chap.
That's not what Reese is definitely older than that says.
Yeah, I don't know.
Evergreen little chap follows. Yeah, probably about 27.
27. 27. Yeah, so, I mean, let's go back to the beginning of the episode.
It's a quiet night in, but on a rundown estate. Instead of amazing cat burglar entrance. Just roll in onto the draining board and knock off a bunch of cookware.
Yeah. And then not really react to that as like I better keep the noise down. So it's like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah. And
is he in his own house?
He's just forgotten his key. I think the moment he starts shifting furniture around, you realise it's not just a burglary, and there's something else afoot.
Yeah.
Or is it? And then it starts to be is there something under the floorboards? Yeah. That was what I first thought. Is this some sort of a treasure thing? Which I guess in some ways kind of is. Pirates. It is pirates. There's buried treasure.
There's some definite nods to pirates. I was expecting pirates. I didn't know what that might look like.
I saw a parrot and then I saw someone lose a leg and thought...
I thought we're going down the pirate route here.
Buried treasure, parrots.
Is there going to be a Jungle Canyon rope bridge?
I mean, it's got most of the ingredients of pirate. Maybe this is a pirate film.
Yeah. Yeah, buried treasure or hidden treasure. Oh, yeah, like is there an X through like the pentagram, or am I clutching it?
Clutching at straws.
Yeah. Yeah. Wine, not rum. Yeah, it's questionable.
You've come up with worse on this podcast.
I'm just re-warming up. It's been a while. Yeah, did you notice the strings when we see the pans around to the chair at the beginning, and there's the supernatural string motif, and I thought, are we
ghosts?
This is going to be ghosts. Are we doing that again?
Nope, necromancy.
Necromancy, which is not something I'm particularly familiar with
quite occulty.
Yeah.
Very occulty.
Quite
occulty. A little bit occulty, isn't it?
Yeah. And the book that they refer to as being in the British Library, I think, is Demonology.
Right. Oh,
King James.
Had a look.
Had a little look. Yeah. So he would. I think it was
King James
wrote a Bible, famous for the Bible.
Wrote Demonology,
which made I think it was like a warning against witchcraft and wizardry and Hogwarts and all that.
I love that people will say that you can turn anything into a analogy these days. Yet back then, you could just create a book on demonology. Demonology,
yeah. And I think necromancy is in the first. It's got 3 volumes or 3 books to it, I think, and necromancy is in the first bit.
What else have you found out about necromancy
not
the
a
last
lot.
few days?
Not a lot. I've dabbled. I did just to see.
There's some weird stuff going on above the house over the last couple of days. I feel like Garth Marenghi's dark place on my street right now.
A lot of people turning into broccoli. I think, and that was the thing that made me laugh about that whole using that as almost a textbook. It was like, yeah, I think it's supposed to be the opposite of that. It's not meant to be encouraging necromancy.
It was caution.
More kind of, like these are the things.
Although you do have to ask the question of what. It's kind of don't do this. Exactly this. Don't say these words. Whatever you do, don't say these words. Don't put the wine on the floor. Don't write these symbols on the floor because things will happen if you do these things. Don't do them.
Yeah.
Like speaking to a toddler.
Yeah. Don't press that big red button, Donald. Yeah. It's kind of, that's very true. Yeah. The prohibition.
What not to do. I wouldn't have stumbled across that.
Yeah.
If you were thinking of doing exactly this set of stuff.
If you weren't completely obsessed with this thing you're telling everyone not to do, nobody would know about it. It's a bit like on Twitter when people retweet really obscure people and say, look, I can't believe this person's saying this. You're like, I've never heard of that person. And now they are famous for saying the thing that you can't believe they said. Well done.
Where shall I put this? Anywhere. Doesn't matter, stick it down there. What did you want with it? It was important to Mum, wasn't it? A lot of value attached to it.
Yeah, she loved it.
Yeah, more than me and you, probably. What are you doing?
I'm giving you a hug. Not seen you in ages. Shall I put the light on?
Obviously not. People know the new owners are away on holiday. We don't want to attract attention.
And straight away, there's just this strange relationship where Harry wants a hug. And there's just kind of this tension between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that Ed did not get along with his mum. Straight off the bat, there's some unresolved stuff there, and this mystery couple have bought this house that they've broken into, but left everything exactly as it was. And then there's this little exchange where Harry says it's been a year since Mum died, and Ed very pointedly said, no, not quite a year, which kind of comes back later as we've got a couple of hours. I mean, they've been waiting for them to go on holiday for this whole time.
Yeah, I was piecing that together because I was thinking, why leave it so late?
They must have had a night out at some point.
There must have been something. Yeah, try and give it a go, like so that you know, okay, this might work. We'll test drive it, not with like an hour to go because you're not going to get a second chance. Do we find out about the money at that point?
So we don't actually find out about the money, I don't think, until Harry comes in dressed as his mum.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's when they start the money discussions.
Yeah.
Up until that point, the whole thing's quite vague about what they're doing. And then they start that discussion about necromancy. He says, and he asks him about, did you find this in a book? What book describes this ridiculous book that's hidden away at the British Museum. You have to make an appointment to see it, but it turns out you also can just Google the contents.
Yeah, I tried Googling the contents. Yeah, it's difficult to read. I mean, I found some images, but I couldn't really. I mean, King James is not the most accessible author at the best of times. So, yeah, but obviously Edward knows what he's looking for, and Fran understood it all. So
she did.
Fair play.
Well, that's because she'd been told that it was going to happen. I liked the chalk occult drawings on the lounge floor with the very detailed symbols and things, but a dreadful pentagram was just all over the shop.
I was thinking at that point, this feels like a not serious version of what this looks like.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing either a botched or just futile, silly thing happening and occurring. We're not watching a genuine Inside Number 9 pentagram horror.
No.
This is not going to be a real necromancy situation.
I guess there's just this light relief sprinkled in with it when Harry appears dressed as his mum in full costume. When he's given the crumbs to scatter and he sniffs them and they're mouldy.
Yeah.
And then he takes another sniff of them.
I know.
That. I was just like,
yeah.
They were rotten, Harry. They did some horrible shit and they made a lot of enemies. Bad people.
She was still our mum.
Yeah, and by right she should have died in prison.
Well, lucky for us she didn't.
Scatter the crumbs.
Oh, they're mouldy.
Exactly.
This ongoing thing that Harry's not quite there. They're talking about bringing their mum back from the dead, and he's just like, "What if she's cross with me?"
Yeah, yeah. There's obviously something he feels guilty about towards.
Yeah, so I don't know whether he's just got this guilt that he was supposed to be looking after her and she died.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's told him that she died quietly in her sleep in the chair. If Reg had anything to do with it, I don't imagine it would have been.
He doesn't seem like the sort of person.
No, I imagine he probably would have done like a brick top and thrown her in with some pigs.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure what it is that he's. Maybe he does know that she didn't die in that chair, and actually none of this was going to work if she didn't die in that chair because that was kind of quite important. But yeah, there's this stuff about the money that both the brothers had been forced to scrimp and save and live on benefits and barely get by. And Ed's seen the bank statements that show that she was sat on a load of money, which is probably the same money that their dad stole from the gang he was part of.
Not a great idea.
Not a great idea. If I've come to learn anything about gangsters, just don't steal money from them.
Exactly. Yeah, and we get that great line about, is he like, what if she doesn't tell us or something like that? And then it's not a seance. This is different.
Yeah, this is different.
It's like that. Is that Stephen Rees saying, "Don't worry, guys, this is not seance time. I know we've done seances before.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. And this is different.
It is. There's a different sort of humor around this because seance time was like speaking to people beyond the grave, and there was some humor in that. In that it was a setup for a television show, and it was all a bit tongue in cheek. This is almost a bit more farcical.
Yeah,
it's happening again, but it's people are taking it seriously, but they're behaving ridiculously around it.
And you are talking about someone who's Googled this thing.
Yeah,
like they've never done this before. It's kind of like, well, yeah, let's give it a go and see if it works.
It's not typical gangster behavior, is it? Like, I don't imagine this is the only way of finding out where that money is. the fact that it's registering on bank statements suggests it's probably in the bank.
That's what I've seen.
If you've seen the bank statements with this money on, probably in the bank. I'm also interested in the idea that with necromancy, they're apparently bound to tell you things.
Mm.
In your brief research, is this something you found?
No, there's a whole lot of different types and different regional necromancy rituals and traditions. Like there's a sort of Eastern, Western, other
fusion,
other different sort of religious backgrounds of necromancy. So I think it's all on the table, really. I think whatever you want to do, there's different things that you can use as sacrifices, different things you can get out of the necro person.
The necro. The necroid.
The necroid. So yeah, it depends what you're after. Really, there's a whole market.
We're all just after a bit of necromance. I think is the necromantics. Less Spandau Ballet involved with necromancy than neuromancy.
Yeah, so we enter he kind of gets Harry to sit down in the chair. The chair goes into the middle of this necromantic pentagram.
Yes. Let's stick with that.
Yeah, he's not sure. He's a little bit trepidatious, and
I love that word.
No,
never heard the word trepidatious before, but it works.
Yeah, it does. It's nice. Yeah, the ritual begins, I suppose, at that point. And a bit of red wine is poured around the outside.
Harry is not keen on spilling red wine.
No, that doesn't sit well.
Oh, that's not good. Red wine on a wood floor, that'll be a deep stain.
Oh, Harry.
Think salt can bring it out, or is it rice?
Don't worry about it. Concentrate on your breathing.
Red wine, that's a deep stain. Use salt. Salt will get rid of it.
Rice, right?
White wine.
White wine.
That's the middle class.
Is that on carpet? I feel like that's
yes.
Not on a wood. I think a wood floor is
deep stain.
That I think we're screwed with that.
Well, no, because then he interrupts it again to tell us no, it's baking powder.
I don't believe that would. Maybe a surface level sort of. I don't know. I feel like
baking powder's good.
Baking powder wine does on wood. Stuff. I just feel like it's going to go deep. It's going to go in. You drip through. I don't know.
Does it matter if you get rid of the surface stain?
Maybe that's the point. Yeah,
it's fine. You can put the carpet back over it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this really isn't important.
No, but it's some light comic relief within the necromancy.
Yeah, which again adds to the we're not supposed to take this necessarily very seriously here, as Edward is performing the necromantic ritual, and
it's not necromancy anymore; it's necromanticism.
He goes and gets the parrot, walks straight through the circle to place it behind Harry, which I thought, okay, he has no respect for this, like sacred space. And then pulls out a knife, which again is quite a piratey.
It is quite piratey. Pirates have knives.
Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Macy.
I mean, I went and did some research on names.
William H. Macy. Is that who it is?
Well, Mr. Macy was like the founder of Macy's department stores in America. That's all I could find. It just did not seem in any way relevant. So,
such any gangster stuff.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I'll be honest.
You've a bit of a jack of all trades, but I know a bit of necromanticism. I know a bit about someone called Mr. Macy.
I know a guy called Mr. Macy started a department store in the States. So it does seem like a particularly chosen name as opposed to an incidental Like, oh, Mr. Macy. Oh, we call him Mr.
Good name
Macy.
for a parrot,
Yeah.
Mr. Macy. Harry does not want Mr. Macy dead.
No. And I was thinking, there is no way Mr. Macy is dying, because it is... You just don't kill animals in TV shows. I've definitely heard it talked about before.
Really?
Of like, it's worse to kill an animal than a person in TV and film. I think they get more complaints if an animal suffers than, well, as in this episode.
Yeah, people have a different attitude in their, like, law.
Yeah, I think it's probably different if we're at stake. If the idea that we personally might be kind of implicated in a law is probably different to watching a parrot get killed. Because there's an element of the poor innocent thing. Like,
Yeah. No, I get that.
yeah. So, yeah, there's a little tussle, and the parrot, Mr. Macy, flies free. Off he goes.
And then the attention is turned to Harry.
Hmm.
He's going to go for it.
Yeah. And that seed has been planted with
That plant has been seeded.
the fact that Harry is also dear to the mother, more dear than Edward, in the mother's words, which again comes back later, I suppose.
Yeah, that was something that I noted, but then didn't go back to, was the her words, not mine.
Mm.
And so Ed was talking about the fact that the mother had kind of seen it, that he had abandoned them,
Yeah.
and just kind of dropped them, but he didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know how he saw it, because what he said was that that is what he did, and his reasons behind that were that they were dreadful people, and his dad was an idiot and deserved exactly what he got, and his mum was, he basically describes them as awful people, doesn't he? That he needed to be away from.
Rotten people. Yeah.
So I guess he can't really have too many complaints that that's what she thought.
Mm.
His reasons were sound, but she felt as though he'd just gone off, which he had.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
But Harry doesn't really contest that sort of thing of her words, not mine. It's almost like, yeah, I know that you went. I don't feel like you abandoned us. Like, I know why you went. There's almost because Harry still obviously really loves Edward.
Yeah.
That he's like, I'm glad we're doing this together. When it's like, no, I think I would be probably squealing my little head off in this situation as you're about to get your head cut off by Reggie at that point.
But I guess the big thing about East End gangsters are generally depicted as very much being, it's all about family.
Yeah.
And the family is the most important thing. And that's why Harry stuck around and looked after his mum, even though they were awful people and all of those kind of things. And Ed was kind of broken that code in a way by going, actually, no, I don't really subscribe to this way of thinking here. They're awful. And this isn't for me. I don't want to go into this exact same line of things, especially as Dad has now implicated his entire family in this gang feud by nicking all their money.
We're not seeing a single penny of it.
No, that's dreadful. Like, why you are with those sorts of people, that's it for your family from this point on. Like, they are not going to be able to exist. As we find out, right?
And they've walked straight into the eye of the storm. Yeah, no, that's true. Maybe Harry has a sense of like respect for. I wish I could like walk away from the family.
But he doesn't strike me as a particularly critical thinker.
No, he doesn't. No, that's very true.
So it's stopped by Reggie and Fran coming back from holiday suddenly.
They're home.
They're a pretty fun pair, aren't they?
They are, yeah. What was it when they arrived? What was your thought about what was going to happen?
I didn't think they were going to be linked.
No.
I thought they had genuinely just walked into their house and found a necromantic ritual taking place in the middle of the night. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I was the same. Yeah, I thought, obviously, they're going to join forces in some way. Something's going to, happen here. Probably someone will end up dead. But
yes.
I was not expecting it to be that they were. Even though it's actually, when you go back and think everything was left the same, like there are things that point to the fact that the people now living in that bungalow are linked to something in the past.
I like the
I missed that
little conversation about it's depressing that everyone ends up in a bungalow. It's just like this funnel that everyone ends up in. As you get old, you just end up being funneled into a bungalow because you can't do stairs
There's
anymore.
no stairs. And speaking as an ex-undertaker, it actually makes
life a lot easier
for those people.
I hate how everyone ends up in bungalows. Why is that?
It's just easier, isn't it? No more stairs. Did you find out anything about them?
Who?
The couple who bought the house.
No, it all went through the agent. I'm surprised they haven't decorated. They've been in a year.
It's not been a year. Not quite.
It's weird. They wanted everything just as it was, furniture included. Did they even change the locks, I wonder?
Oh, don't say that. I just broke in.
Harry and Ed are then both bound up together. An extra chair has been sourced, and now they're both bound up. And it turns out that these are not very nice people.
They have experience in all kinds of things.
What are you two up to? Incense. You're disgusting.
There were certain, because there was all the rhyming slang that then kind of takes up quite a bit of the script or the dialogue, and it's like when Fran explains that they mean incense, not incest, you twat or whatever. I've felt it a little bit clunky in the explanations of certain things, and there were through the episode there was quite a lot of exposition and explanation of things where it was like I'm getting flashbacks to Thinking Out Loud here, where you're putting in things maybe because viewers need it, but
you felt like around the slang.
Maybe to do with the slang and just the exposition of this, earlier on when they're talking about the new owners of the house. And I know you've got to kind of establish what, the context of what we're dealing with here. But I think some of it maybe could have been refined slightly, or maybe just delivered in a slightly different way that didn't feel like, this is for the benefit of the viewer rather than this would be a natural conversation that would go on in this situation. But
I think with some of the slang, part of the reason was that there is some standard stuff in there, but then some other stuff that is just getting progressively more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ending up with the Georgie.
Yeah.
Foreman grill.
Yeah, which Reggie doesn't understand.
No.
What's that? What's a Georgie? Foreman grill. A mill?
A mill.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. That makes complete sense.
So we have Moby, Dick for sick.
Yeah.
Lemon Tart, smart. They weren't smoking Harris weed. Shut your north and south mouth. Soot. Ian Sweep.
Yeah.
Sleep. What? That can't be a real one.
Yeah.
Bear's paw, electric saw. Butcher's hook, crook. Look. Brown bread, dead. Oh, plate. Cut off his plate.
Foot.
Yeah, but why? Is that slang? I want to know now.
Yeah. Go on.
Plates of meat. Plates of meat, feet. There you go. I love it. For instance, face would be replaced by boat because face rhymes with boat race. Similarly, feet becomes plates of meat, and money is bread from bread and honey. Yeah, so I think that I don't know how much of that is actual slang. I don't know how fixed Cockney rhyming slang is.
No, I'm sure there's probably like with necromancy, there's probably a variety of flavours.
Different flavours of rhyming slang. I feel like bear's paw for sore. Is that?
Well, he knew that one.
Ed did. Although
Yeah.
I think you just got. I think you could just join. I joined the dots on that one. As soon as she said they were going to chop him up, and he said bear's paw, I didn't think they were going to be scratched.
Are we going to be scratched? That sounds scary.
Poor Harry.
Yeah, and that I did enjoy around that the thing around the detectives and Miss Marple's
Yeah.
Trivial Pursuits, Cliff Richards.
Yeah.
Again with the red wine, it shows you the sort of person that he is, the things that he's thinking about, like almost that innocence of. And like, I care about what Edward will be thinking when you say things like that. You can't say that. That's like that's something he really cares about. So Miss Marple's and Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. We kind of get this thing of them joining some dots and realizing that they've got a connection to Reg. And that he was part of that gang. And now we're starting to understand why they bought this house and why there's this link. A lovely story about the foot in the vice. Looked like a spatchcock.
Yeah. Plate of meat.
Lovely. And that was all. I mean, is it confirmed that he killed the mother?
No, but
or is it just?
I think it pretty much is in the fake kind of revelations from Edward.
Yes,
as the mother, because he doesn't
deny
that, does he?
I guess not. No. And Reg is not happy with this conversation at all, is he? When Ed comes out with how did you kill her? You'd obviously been sleeping with her for years. At that point, he smashes the mug over his hand, which looks horrible.
Yes.
But yeah, they bought the house.
Yeah, that was a jarring moment, actually. Like more graphic than I was expecting. Like, I think that was more graphic than the leg chop to some degree, because at least you knew, okay, he's having his leg chopped off. But it was like that was quite that's surprising. Like he smashed that mug.
He's not a well man, Reg. He's a really nasty piece of work. I mean, don't try and smoke incense sticks.
Yeah,
that must have been
that kind of the way that he was doing that as well was like, it was just so frantic and like this is a guy who probably just either needs some sleep or is generally not quite okay.
So yeah, they bought the house and they think the money is stashed there somewhere. Again, is it in a bank account? Is it in a bag? We're not sure. And then we get told that Franny loves true crime, particularly women who kill. Avid podcast listener, I imagine. There's hundreds of them.
I would think so. Yeah. She's got a lot of content to consume there.
Oh, it's relentless.
And hopefully, I mean, from here, she's going to get on. She's going to get on a podcast. She will be the subject of
Women Who Kill.
Maybe Women Who Kill itself. Yeah.
Women who kill, who enjoy Women Who Kill.
There's a new one. Yeah.
There must be a few of those.
Yeah.
Who listen to those things just for tips.
Yeah. A bit like reading Demonology by King James. Yeah. We're creating Women Who Kill in order to show people how not to
kill.
But here is
It's just like
how this person did it.
the O.J. Simpson book, where he said, "I didn't do it, but here's how I would have done it if I did it."
Yeah. My opportunity to tell
Hold up.
everybody how I did it without...
Don't do this.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of this. This is all the stuff I didn't do.
This is what I would have done. So this is why I am innocent, because it didn't quite happen like that.
She's as unhinged as he is.
Yeah.
Franny is all in on this, and like Reg is clearly a little bit unsettled by her love of true crime, because that is going to give her ideas isn't entirely just throwaway. Like he is genuinely concerned that
Yeah, it's like you don't need ideas.
Yeah,
We've had conversations, and I know what you're capable of. Yeah, and I think you see that with, just to sort of jump ahead to the point where she pulls the plug on the saw, and you think, oh, they're going to be okay, and actually, she goes down this whole the necromancy route, and then is ready to just kill Harry with the knife and sacrifice him. So it becomes from, oh, you're saved from murder, but you're not safe from sacrifice.
Yes.
She doesn't have any qualms about changing that.
Absolutely not. I mean, I love the bit where they just decide they're going to chop him up, and then he goes and puts his leather face apron on. She comes back in a rain mac
nice
with the bear's paw. Yeah. This is my special sawing up people rain mac.
Yeah, it's like these guys have done this before.
Yes.
Many times.
There's
a routine,
work, isn't it?
There is a routine.
But not in I guess it reminds me of that scene in American Psycho, where he's brought the guy back and he's talking about Huey Lewis in the news, and he's dressing up in his raincoat to then axe him. But there's some preparation going on there. These guys have just stumbled across some people in their house in the middle of the night. Get the saw on the max.
Yeah, it's just like absolutely no empathy, no sense of like, these are people. It's just like, here we go. This is a job that we need to do. Let's get the gear
there's
on.
Not even like a sadistic
playing
with them either. It's probably going to have to saw them up. We're going to saw you up.
Yeah. How do we get these wasps out of the house?
Yeah.
The easiest way is probably just to saw them up. Come on.
I've never used an electric saw with a wasp infestation. I think that would be a mistake.
That would be you would come off worse, I think, once they started stinging you and you were wielding an electric saw. It's like, get away! I've chopped my leg off.
Halfing into various surfaces, these wasps just fly away. Yeah. That's a picture. So they decide, the plug is pulled, because, he's done this before with 2 Saint Bernards. Don't ask me why, but I was picking fur out of my teeth for weeks. Why'd you eat them?
We don't know. What? Yeah, that was a nice bit of viewer imagination required, or not.
But Franny stops it because the tarot lady predicted this.
Betrayal. That's a great little conversation.
Yeah. This has one of my favourite bits about the tiger attack. So you're going to be attacked by a tiger and a box of Frosties fill on your head.
Yeah, I really like that bit. Yeah, there's some. It is like some of the exchanges between those two actually make the episode to some degree. Yeah, and like the bit about Father Brown, and talking about Mark Williams, the actor, Chesterton's masterpiece. Come on, and she's obviously well read in that respect, or like specifically read in certain things. I've never watched Father Brown, so
neither have I.
That was slightly lost on me, but
I've done a little bit of research to the same degree as Cockney Rhyming Slam necromancy. Franny then turns on Harry quite happy as a sacrifice. Now she's talked herself into the idea that the tarot specifically told her that this was what was going to happen. And Ed suddenly decides, it might not have to be death.
Yeah.
Harry's you remember that now?
Yeah.
Maybe you got a
feel
toe
so
off.
sorry for him. It's like, I keep thinking I'm going to die, and then, come on, stop doing this. He seems fairly calm.
He's kind of resigned himself to it.
Yeah, just get on with it.
Come on. Because I guess I said there doesn't seem to be like a sadistic messing with them, but indirectly there is.
Yeah.
Just with their faffing around.
A lot of faffing.
I've decided. I know what's about to happen to me.
Yeah.
Ed tries to do the noble thing of you can kill me but let him go. I don't know if he is being honestly noble or whether he knows that either way, Reg is not the type. And he's just trying to make a play at looking like a good guy, maybe. Because I think he knows that Reg is not... That Reg has not kind of gone into any bargaining process here at all. It's, I'm just going to saw you up into tiny pieces and put you in the forest.
I'm just really tired. Like,
I'm a tired man, and you know what people do when they get tired? Cut people up into tiny pieces with an electric saw.
They just want to get rid of their problem as efficiently as possible so they can go to sleep.
Yeah.
Or to soot.
To soot. That can't be a real one.
Yeah. So then he suggests, okay,
a toe.
Just a sacrifice from the person. Take a toe.
But for some reason, it's easier to take his old plate off.
Which probably is true. I think that
is it. Is it?
I mean, it's probably fiddly to be like, okay, which toe am I going to do?
Well, you don't have to. I mean, big toe or little toe. It's not like at this stage it matters if you nick the next one along.
You probably don't care.
Oh, I'm accidentally.
Yeah. If you're the sort of
really
person who's
sorry.
like, I'm going to take the whole plate off, it's like, okay, if I take a couple of toes off
instead of
neither
one,
here nor there. Here.
Where do you stop? I think that was just Reg being Reg. No, I'll take your foot off. This will be more fun because I imagine it's more satisfying.
Yeah,
as the sawyer.
Do you reckon? I really would. I don't think I could do that.
I could not do that.
No,
and I don't think that that's really a surprising thing to say.
you might be really surprised to hear.
I don't think I could cut someone's
I don't
off
think
at the
I
ankle.
could. No, I don't think I could. And that's...
But if I did, I would make sure that I put like a little rounded vase thing on it.
Yeah, pop a pot on it.
Pop a pot on it.
Pop a pot on it and bang it a little bit to make sure it doesn't come off.
That was so horrible. I don't know why he wouldn't have passed out.
I think that was the bit that I felt more than the chopping itself was the banging of the pot. It's like, that's raw. Like, that is raw.
It's like B-movie gore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if it's the sort of thing that you watch a cheap old film.
Yeah. Especially the close-up on Reggie's face where, like, the blood is splattered.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like spurting blood is not something you see on things that are taking violence seriously.
No.
Like, you don't... Blood spurting like that is... I'm about to say it's inherently funny, but that sounds sadistic as hell.
Well, I think that was intended to be funny rather than horrific. Like, for me, it's... Like, I think Riddle of the Sphinx is more horrific than...
Oh, a piece of a human being was cut off, cooked and eaten. Yeah.
Exactly.
The Black Knight in Monty Python and the Holy Grail getting arms and legs lopped off and it's spurting with blood. I mean, that...
Exactly, yeah.
Fucking doddle. Oh! What now?
Well, tie it off.
So, yeah, they hold the foot up as their sacrifice and complete the necromantic
ritual.
Yeah, call it that. And then Ed's eyes start rolling back and he starts revealing things.
So the mother has arrived.
As the mother.
Yeah. And very nicely, very reassuring to old Harry.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about.
Did any part of you think, oh, they're going with the fact it's worked?
No.
No, you were straight in.
Yeah, I thought this is... The only part of me was he's got a lot of self-control for someone who's just had his foot lopped off.
You're doing well here.
Yeah.
Considering.
But then maybe it's, that pot has just contained everything, and actually it's like, get used to this new foot that I've been given, and now I'm going to do what needs to be done and pretend
walking
to be
on hard floors. Bong. Bong. Bong.
Yeah. I didn't
clonk.
think that it was, or I certainly hoped it hadn't worked.
Would that have...
I think it would have been a bit like, guys, I'm not sure
Really?
about that. Yeah.
You think so? Even bearing in mind, like, the end of Seance Time, it turned out that there was an evil spirit there the whole time.
I think that felt like it had earned that place.
Okay. And this didn't.
I don't think this had... No, it hadn't done enough to actually sort of make that plausible. Not
That's
that
fair.
it's ever really plausible.
But necromancy had worked.
Yeah. Did you think that it was...
No, I think it felt like, okay, I can see what he's up to here. I can see what's happening right now. I didn't think it was got, and
especially when he jumps in to reveal the affair rather than
but he's just going all out to cause as much havoc here as he can. I guess if you just try and sow enough chaos at that point, you're giving yourself a chance of that turning out better for you than what you have right now.
And these were obviously things that he knew. Like, he knew that they were having an affair. Like, and the me and mum didn't get on is almost, you're thinking, okay, it's because he knew all this stuff, and actually he needed to walk away from that situation because he knew too much. Yeah,
it was almost like he had an opportunity there to get all of this stuff off his chest.
Yeah.
And kind of just get it all out there of, this is what I knew. 20 odd years.
Yeah. And that was it was like Reese's performance in that bit is great.
With his eyes rolling back and with the voice.
Yeah.
Because I think his East End gangster voice, it probably isn't quite there. But his old possessed lady voice
is there.
Is there.
I think he's done a lot more of that over the years.
Yeah.
Mum, can you hear me?
Oh, Harry. Is that you, son?
Yeah. Yeah, it's me, Mum. How you doing?
It's dark, Harry. Who's that with you?
It's Reggie. It's Reggie and Franny.
Hello, Annie. Good to speak with you again.
Oh, Francis. Oh, I'm surprised you're still with that pig of an husband. You not left him yet?
No, Annie. We're still together, aren't we, Reg?
Yeah, well, she ain't got rid of me just yet.
Yeah, so once he reveals that, Fran just stabs him.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Bang. Dead.
No
Dead
regret.
Reg.
Just, there we go.
And she is properly, just cold.
She's cold. Yeah.
I'll clear this up in the morning.
Yeah. I want you guys out of here when he wakes up. I'm going to go and catch up on Women Who Kill. And she's just sort of seen a live episode. It's been
Doesn't
very
need to anymore.
much actively part of a live episode.
It's done its job.
Yeah.
She's a woman who kills. She's one of them. And this little bit afterwards, poor Harry. Poor Harry, who jumps straight in with, she forgives me. She said it's not my fault. I feel like Edward could possibly have just
played along,
let it go.
Yeah.
If that would have given Harry a bit of closure.
But then maybe him knowing that Edward had said that would be quite helpful for their relationship and for the...
Yeah, maybe.
Because at least he's still alive.
And then we say that it didn't work.
Mm.
And it hadn't earned it. But it didn't work.
We don't know.
But
we don't know.
What do you want?
It's an ambiguous ending.
Mr. Macy's back. Mr. Macy's back, and it looks like he wants to know what they want.
Yeah. He does.
Or he's just heard that phrase a lot, and so he just repeats it. Like parrots.
That does remind me, when Mr. Macy first appeared, my initial thought was she's going to speak through the parrot, as opposed to the parrot is going to be a sacrifice. I think that...
Okay.
That was... yeah, okay, we're going to use the parrot as a proxy mother talking thing. Obviously not. But that came back at the end. So, yeah, we don't know if the necromancy had worked. Or do you think that was clarity that it had?
No, parrots say stuff. Parrots.
They're attention seekers.
They are attention seekers. There's a part 2 to this episode where they find a treasure map and he's now got a peg leg. And
yes.
They set off across the 7 seas with parrots and the peg leg and a map.
And I'm there. Feature film. Brilliant.
Yeah, 9 seasons in a movie is... And this is the one that they decide to expand into a film of every single episode. This one becomes a full-on pirate film.
Yes. Yeah, no, it wasn't... I don't think it's going to be up there as one of my all-time favourites. But as we said earlier, it's just a bit of fun.
It did a job. That is the beauty of this programme, is that you do like some of them, you do dislike some of them. Some of them work for you, some of them don't work for you.
Yeah.
And no one's expecting you to love every single one of them.
Yeah.
The vast majority of them are hits, though. There aren't many misses.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't put this down as a miss. I think...
No, I think it does what it set out to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not trying to be clever, particularly. And I think if you come at it thinking this is trying to be something really intelligent and trying to make points in certain ways, it's like you're going to be able to tear a lot of holes in it, because that's not what it's trying to do. It's like, that's not where they would have been, trying to tie up all the knots. So that wasn't the point. Or
tie off all the
tourniquet
stumps.
Tourniquet the stumps. Yeah.
Which feels like a great line to finish on.
Exactly.
Let's tourniquet this stump. That's better than rinse it numb.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll hand it over to people to share what did you think of this episode? Please let us know. Send us an email. I haven't said the email address for a great many months, so let me...
Here we go.
A Quiet Night Inside 09@gmail.com.
Well done.
Yeah. And I think we're still on Twitter.
We are.
At AQNIN9.
Yes.
Is where you can get in touch. We can't promise to respond to everything because we are really bad at that, but we do read everything. And we are very grateful for everybody who gets in touch. It's, really nice to read people's responses and hear people's questions, even though we don't answer them very well. I assume that Steve's going to answer them. He assumes that I'm going to answer them. In the end, nothing gets answered. And that is probably a good metaphor for Inside Number 9. Didn't see the hair this week. Did you see the hair?
No, someone said they did find it somewhere in the house. I mean, it's probably inside that cluttered house somewhere.
Good for them. Yeah, it wasn't in any...
Congratulations. Do you know what that means? Nothing.
All right. Well, this has been lovely. Have a good week. We'll talk again soon.
See you next week.
All right. Cheers, man.
What do you want?
Mom, we have a question for you.
What do you want?
Where did you hide all the money?